I'm going to break down for you step by step what you need to know so that way you can get started. And I'm going to show you how to do it in a way that's very practical and easy. Hi, my name is Choma, and in this channel, I talk all about finance, wealth, stocks, and money. And so, if that sounds like you, make sure you hit the subscribe button before you finish watching this video. So, let's get right into it, and let's talk all about investing into the stock market and what that means. Now, in another video, I'll talk more about what are stocks, but today the focus is I'm sharing with you how I made money from investing in the stock market so that way you can learn how to do the same thing as well. So now I'll tell you, I have been exposed to investing into the stock market for years, at least a decade. I even went to one of those stock marketing classes like maybe 10 years ago where but those type of classes though where like at the end they're trying to charge you $18,000 to learn how to invest in stock market. And I never signed up or paid for that or anything like that, but I've always been intrigued and interested in learning how. And I think the biggest thing that held me back for so long was that I just felt like it was very risky. I felt like it was a lot to learn, overwhelming, and I didn't feel like I had at the time a lot of money to afford to lose to invest in the stock market, right? And but fast forward to today though, I've learned so much, and it's not as challenging. It's not as difficult as what it may seem or appear to be. All right, so let's go over 4 basic steps so that way you can learn how you can get started and what exactly you need to do. All right, so you have to have the right kind of mindset. So, what this looks like is that you have to have a long term mentality when it comes to investing in the stock market. You have to. Otherwise, what will happen is that you will get nervous, and like sell and then like miss out on a huge um, return, So, like, and I used to do that too. Like, when I was trying to like dabble in and get started, I would do that. I would buy and then sell, like, oh, I'm scared. Oh, it went down a little bit. Let me sell right now, you know? And so you don't make any money that way. Honestly, you don't, right? And so if you're going to do this, you have to have the approach, the mentality where no, I'm going to invest and I'm going to push past my discomfort, right? Push past the up and down volatility of the market and just wait it out, and just trust the process. So I would say mindset is probably the number one thing that's bigger than over everything else is your mental approach to it, because you will self-sabotage yourself. You will self-sabotage yourself, and you will not get the highest and the best returns. Okay, so that's the first thing. Number one is going to be to have the right mindset, have a long-term approach. Now that you establish, okay, I'm in it, not going to give up, that type of stuff, then the second thing, number two, is that you need to now research. All right. So you need to do your research when it comes to researching in the stocks, like what stocks to invest and why. So whether it's going to be like penny stocks, which is probably, I would recommend, probably one of the safest places to start for a brand new beginner. And if you don't have a lot of money to invest, penny stocks are the best place for you to start. Now there's another type of stock market, and there's different types of investing in stock market. Like, for example, the one that's more that you may be familiar with that is associated with more risk is day trading. So day trading, that's the one where you literally are investing day by day and it's more riskier. Those look like calls, put options, things like that. More risky, higher risk, but higher return as well. So the one I did is not day trading, right? Mine is pretty much buy low and sell high. That's what mine is, right? And just pretty much just waiting out. and being patient. So that's what I am. That's what my experience is, and that's what I'm sharing with you. So you're gonna have to do your research. If you're a brand new beginner, like I said, I recommend penny stocks. You can't go wrong with that. So penny stocks are going to be your stocks that's typically less than $5 per share. So the reason why you have such a great possibility with investing with penny stocks is that you, like I said, you can literally buy shares at a very low price, and then with time, then eventually you could sell it at a much more higher price. And the way that you really make a lot of money with investing in stocks is that you need to have multiple shares. And when I say multiple, I don't mean like two or three. I mean like hundreds, thousands, so like the more shares that you have, the more return you're going to receive. So you really want it, you that's why penny stocks are ideal, because it's easier for you to have a higher amount of shares. So for example, if you were trying to, let's say, invest in Facebook, which I think at the time of me doing this video, Facebook is probably, I don't know, $900 per share or so, more so or less. So it costs $900 for you to just buy one share of Facebook, and so you have to invest a lot of money in order to have a lot of shares to get a really good ROI, right? But versus if you buy like a penny stock for like $1, you can buy 100 shares, and for $1, $100, and boom, you already have 100 shares. And if that stock goes up to $5 to $10, you made a ROI already, right? So that's the beautiful thing about investing in penny stocks, okay? So you have to do your research. There's different websites you can research from. You can go to websites like marketwatch.com. That's a common one that I research from. Yahoo Finance. You can Google. Also, what I like about using Robinhood is that on Robinhood, it will not only tell you all the information about the stock, but it will also link different articles, recent articles about any changes in the stock price, in the company that has influenced the stock price. So that will also help give you more insight too. And then also you can also just research just from just Googling or learning from other investors and finding out what they're investing in and why, right? So that's what research looks like. And the more research you can do, the better, but don't have the mentality where you research, you can't, you paralyze yourself, all right? So in the sense that you have to keep researching until you actually invest in something. No, get enough data, get enough information, and then go ahead and go right into it. So research it and then begin to learn what makes a stock promising, what makes it likely to increase and likely to go up versus what makes it to go down, right? So being able to study how the stock is influenced, study how the economy works. So that's what then I began to do when I started to take this more seriously. I began to read and watch videos on how the economy works, what influences the stock market, what type of events changes how the stocks go up and down. I started to study all that stuff. What is in demand and what rises in demand, and things like that really influences what you invest into, and it makes it easier for you to pick the best stocks, especially if you think long term and you think, okay, will this company be relevant 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now? That also helps you to make really wise decisions. So that's essentially the second thing you need to do after the mindset, is that you need to then research, okay? The third thing, number three, is now you go ahead and start investing. Now, here's my rule of thumb when it comes to investing. Never invest money that you can't afford to lose, okay? Never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. So for me, I was investing like coffee money. I was investing money that, okay, if I never see this money again, I will be okay, right? So even with your confidence of the research that you do, even with like, oh, this is promising, still my rule of thumb, never invest money that you can't afford to lose. So if this is like, oh, this is my rent money and I need this money, I need an ROI by next week or the next 2 weeks, then no, that's not money you should invest, right? So you have to, of course, that means you have to have some money, right? Some extra money that you can afford. If it's okay, if you never see it again, you'll be okay. So that's my rule of thumb. And I think it's probably one of the best ways to have peace of mind when it comes to investing in the stock market, period, or just any investment, honestly. So never invest money that you can't afford to lose. Otherwise, you will feel uneasy, and this will be harder for you. Now, number four, the fourth thing is to just wait. All right. So wait and monitor essentially. So you're going to monitor the. I don't recommend looking at it every single day, but because that may give you stress and anxiety. But it's now that you made the investment and it looks like it's a strong stock for you to invest into. Now just go in and wait and monitor it. You can check in. You can, if you, what I like about using Robinhood is that it will it will send you daily alerts on the app. So you could download the app and then you'll get daily alerts, which makes it really convenient as opposed to like other types of investing platforms. So I like that about it. Like I'll get a notification telling me, oh, this stock went up, oh, it went down, and then you can always turn off the notifications if you don't want it to be on. So um, so that's, but I personally recommend that you do have it on because when you're first getting started, you want to pay attention to how the stock is performing, right? So just wait and hold. And sometimes it takes time. Like the stocks that I've invested into, usually I get a return 3 to 4 months, right? So like I'll start to see a return 3 to 4 months later. So that's, and then with some of the ones I invested in so far, like the ones I'm talking about right now in this video, like what I'm showing right now with you, it took like 3 or 4 months for me to get that ROI. And then there's some as well where it's going to take longer than that. So you have to kind of evaluate, okay, is this a stock that will do well for the long run, right? Or is this a stock where my goal is to get a return within the next 6 months, right? So you have to kind of study and evaluate the stock based on that reason. And I also, one thing that also helps too, like I said, is to like research the history of the stock because it'll help you to know, okay, where's this stock heading towards, and that will help you to know, okay, let me just buy some shares and hold on to it for the long run. And then there's also another thing I wanted to mention too, which is not the ROI, not from the same ROI that I received, but is stocks that have dividends, right? So there are certain, not all stocks, but there are some stocks that what they'll do, they'll actually pay you. The company will pay you on top of it rising in the share price. The company will pay you once a quarter the dividends from the profits that they made that quarter. So that's one of the ways where people also make passive income. Like I've seen people literally um, be able to quit their jobs and just pretty much live off of the dividends from the stocks that they invested into over the years. So that's another way to also get an ROI from investing in the stock market, not just waiting on the share price to increase, but also you can also invest in stocks that have dividends, and then now boom, you build a passive income portfolio, and you don't have to worry about money ever again. So those are my 4 tips to helping you to invest in the stock market. Those are the things I did that helped me to make the type of return like I just shared with you today. Now, the platform I do recommend, highly recommend, is Robinhood. Robinhood, I know people have controversial opinions about Robinhood, but me personally, I like it. I feel like it's very easy to use. Haven't had any issues. Like I said, I got the return on what I made. I didn't have any issues cashing it out, anything like that, So I recommend Robinhood for multiple reasons. If you want to check it out, you can go to the link below in the description for the referral link to check out Robinhood. I believe you get some type of free incentive when you do. And then I also do, if you want to know the specific stocks that I recommend investing into, then also in the link in the description, I do have a stock investment tracker, which also includes about 10 different stocks I recommend that you invest into. So you can check the description as well if you want to get that today. All right. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you found this helpful. Comment below. I would love to hear what you took away from this and where you're at right now in your investment journey. All right. Thank you so much. See you the next time.